Okay, so this is my version of a folding stool. These are the measurements, 6 1/4 wide, and that's all my bandsaw will take. So that's what I went with that. 11 7/8 long and 2 3/8 thick. That's all my scroll saw will take. I have a really bad elbow and I cannot do all that gramercy work, saw work. Anyways, so I have to cheat a little bit with some power tools. This is the measurements I have here. I left this guy a little thick because I'm using basswood. It's easy for me to carve, but it's not so strong. On other projects, I've blown out the corner. This one I blew out the corner by accident, so on purpose I cut out this other corner. And you can see here, I blew out this corner here. So giving it a little bit more meat here, I'll cut this to a 1/2 inch later, but I'll show that. Now, in these pins, we have 8 on this side and 7 on this side. Okay? Also, I made a relief cut on this side and a relief cut here and the same on the other side. I made a relief cut here and one here. I'll show you all the cuts here later though. Now I've only did, you can see here, I've only did 5 bandsaw cuts only. I did not cut down here yet because again I want more meat here. I've also used a 1/8 drill bit to start my pilot holes, and then I used the scroll saw to make all these smaller cuts here. Then I came back and I used a 3/8 Forstner bit to plow out a lot of this material and to define this wall here, that wall right in there, and it helps me quite a bit. So now it's just a simple matter of chiseling all this, and it's all chiseled this way. So yeah, have fun. Also, I would like to add that when I drew these smaller lines here, I waited until after I made my bandsaw cuts, and then I divided between my bandside cut and this edge. And then I divided these guys into 3. And I did that with each section here. There's 5 sections. Rather than doing all these, marking them all down before you do any cuts, I found that I have to freehand this bandsaw and it can be off. And then I start making these cuts. Well, these pins can also be off. So I find it makes me a little bit more accurate. Okay, so this is the layout for the seats only. Okay, so remember this reference point here. This is all we're going to do. There's 2, 4, 6. And when we flip it over, there's 2 and 4 only. So we're only going to cut out, chisel out for the seat only. And you can see it here. There'll be 3 sets of 2 on one side, and there'll be 2 sets of 2 on the other side. Okay, so that's all we want to do for now, is we'll just chisel that out. Okay. Okay, so you see I've made my bandsaw cut coming down here, and I've shaped this on either side. I've also made my bandsaw cuts for the seat. This guy here and this guy here. There's one more cut down the center here, but I'm going to hold off and do that a little later. Okay, so what we want to do now is we're cutting for this top pin here and this one, these three over here. So 3 on this side and 2 on this side. So that X there is 1, 2, 3 pins. Now all those pins, this is one of the legs, they all have to come to this leg. Okay? Now, this X with the circle, this one here, and this one here. And on this side, this one here, and this one here. They all have to be chiseled to this leg only. Okay? Which on the top is 2 and 3 on that side. Okay, so I'm going to start that now. Okay, so we made it this far. Now, you might be tempted to just pull these apart really fast, and there might be a little bit of resistance, but you're going to try and pull these apart anyways, these seats. Don't do that. This is soft wood. It's only basswood. If you do that, you can end up blowing out little chunks here, which doesn't look very good. So take your time when you're separating the seat for the very first time. Now I'm going to try and do this with one hand. I'm going to open them up. I already opened them up and they worked. There we go. That's basically the seat. Okay? Okay, so now we're getting ready to cut out the legs. Remember, this is our reference point. And you can see here, this is how we're going to cut our legs. And you might notice that this leg and this leg is a little thicker than the seat. So dividing it should be equal, but I left a little bit more meat here and there because I wanted a stronger joint from the legs to the supports of the seat. Because I've had it before, excuse me, where it's just not enough meat here and it's just blown away. And I tried to add a piece of wood and join it and use epoxy, but it just won't work. Just not enough meat from the leg to the support. Anyways, this is the measurements I put there. Don't worry about being exact here. You don't have to be exact. You can fudge it quite a bit. You can fudge all these cuts quite a bit. Everything on this whole thing can be, depending on the width, you're going to have different cuts. Depending on the thickness, you're going to have different cuts. So don't sweat the small things. So take that off. Now I don't have any choice. I have to do Gramercy work. I'm going to do 1/8 drill bit down here, 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 here. And I have to use the Gramercy saw, which was kind of nice. I had to make this Gramercy saw. It came with a kit, so that was pretty easy. But it's enjoyable to make something like that. So let me just show you here, and then we'll flip it over. And the other side is like this. Okay? So I'm going to get to drilling, Gramercy saw, then I can start chiseling. Okay, so you can see here, I've used the bandsaw to make this cut up to here. And I had to use the Gramercy saw to make this cut here, which was pretty tough with me because of my bad elbow. I had to stop 3 or 4 times. I couldn't do it all the way. So now, and then you can see that I've chiseled out the hinge on either side. Yeah? But I can only go so far. These pins or these supports here will not get past this seat. So I've gone back 1 inch, excuse me, and I'm going to cut out these 3 sections on that side and 2 sections on this side. So we'll carry on with that. I'll just show you all the X's and zeros and X's so there's no mistake. Okay? Okay then. So these slots here, I originally did 1 inch. I made it 2 inches. Okay? And I also made a bevel. You can see it here. I beveled this one, beveled this one, beveled this one, and beveled this one. So they fit a lot better. Yeah? I still have to do a lot of cleanup work. It's very rough in here, rough here. I still have to do sanding. But that's basically the stool there. Okay.